You chose your path. You've understood the foundation. Now we move into the deep science of what actually makes biological aging reversible, and how Jack LaLanne became the living proof. In video 15, you learned that specialization matters, but integration matters more. That you need strength, conditioning, and mobility across your lifetime. Now, we're going to go much deeper. We're going to look at the biological mechanisms that actually allow aging to be reversed. And we're going to do this through Jack LaLanne's proven protocols. Here's the uncomfortable truth that modern medicine doesn't want to emphasize. Biological age and chronological age are not the same thing. You can be 60 years old chronologically and have the biological markers of a 35-year-old. Or you can be 40 chronologically and have the biological markers of a 55-year-old. One number is inevitable. The other is completely changeable. Jack LaLanne understood this intuitively. He didn't have modern technology to measure his biological age, but he lived like someone who knew, at a cellular level, that his age was being determined by his choices, not by the calendar. When he was 70 years old, Jack underwent medical examination. The results were stunning. His VO2 max was tested. His cardiovascular system was measured. His blood work was analyzed. His body composition was assessed. And across nearly every marker of aging, he didn't look 70. He looked somewhere in his 40s. This wasn't luck. This wasn't genetic gift. This was deliberate biological engineering through understanding and applying the principles of how human bodies age and regenerate. What actually determines biological age? Let me explain what biological age actually means. It's not a mystical concept. It's measurable. It's specific. And it's based on how well your cellular systems are functioning. There are specific markers that measure biological age. Your VO2 max, how much oxygen your body can utilize. Your body composition, the ratio of muscle to fat. Your cardiovascular efficiency, measured through heart rate variability and recovery time. Your inflammatory markers, measured through blood work. Your cognitive function, measurable through specific tests. Your bone density, your hormonal markers. Your cellular telomere length, which is essentially your cellular expiration date. Together, these markers determine your biological age. And here's the revolutionary part. Nearly all of them are directly modifiable through the right protocols. When Jack was in his 70s, his VO2 max was measured at 45 milliliters per kilogram per minute. For a 70-year-old, this is extraordinary. The average 70-year-old male has a VO2 max around 15 to 20. A 40-year-old average male has a VO2 max around 35 to 40. Jack's 70-year-old body had the cardiovascular capacity of a 40-year-old fit male. His body composition at 70 was approximately 8 to 10% body fat, with exceptional muscle mass. The average 70-year-old male has 35 to 40% body fat. Most 40-year-old men don't have Jack's muscle definition. His blood work showed inflammatory markers that were among the lowest his doctors had ever seen. Inflammatory markers are directly correlated with aging. Lower inflammation means younger biological age. His cognitive tests showed no decline from his earlier measurements. Most people experience significant cognitive decline by 70. Jack's brain was functioning like it was decades younger. This wasn't one marker. This wasn't luck in one category. Across nearly every measurable component of biological age, Jack was operating with the markers of someone 20 to 30 years younger than his chronological age. Mitochondrial adaptation, the foundation of reversing aging. Here's where the real mechanism comes in. The reason Jack's biological age was reversed had everything to do with mitochondrial health. Your mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. They generate ATP, the energy currency of your body. The more efficient your mitochondria are, the more energy you have available for all biological processes, including repair and regeneration. Most people's mitochondria become less efficient with age. You have fewer mitochondria. The ones you have function less effectively. This is why people get more tired, more sluggish, and more prone to disease as they age. Jack's protocols were, whether intentionally or not, specifically designed to maximize mitochondrial adaptation and proliferation. His training methods, particularly his combination of resistance training and cardiovascular work, created a stimulus that triggered mitochondrial biogenesis. This is the creation of new mitochondria. When you stress your muscles through resistance training, particularly with the intensity and consistency Jack employed, your body responds by creating more mitochondria to handle that demand. When you engage in cardiovascular training, particularly interval-based conditioning, you trigger additional mitochondrial adaptation. Your body needs more cellular energy to sustain that work, so it builds more mitochondrial capacity. The result? Jack's cells had exceptional energy production capacity. His muscles could generate more force. His cardiovascular system could deliver more oxygen. His brain had more energy available for cognitive function. This mitochondrial advantage cascades into nearly every biological aging marker. Cardiovascular reversal, the VO2 max paradox. One of the clearest examples of Jack's biological age reversal is his cardiovascular system. VO2 max is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. It's also one of the most modifiable markers. Unlike genetic factors you can't control, VO2 max is directly changeable through training. The typical aging pattern is that VO2 max declines about 1% per year after age 25, if you're sedentary. More active people show slower decline. But nearly everyone shows decline. Jack reversed this pattern entirely. His VO2 max at 70 was not just maintained from his earlier years, it was optimized at a level that would be impressive in a 40-year-old. How? Through deliberate cardiovascular stress and adaptation. His swimming protocols, his cardiovascular conditioning circuits, his resistance training done with short rest periods, all of this created the stimulus for his cardiovascular system to maintain and even improve its capacity. When your body is consistently challenged to deliver oxygen and energy to working muscles, your cardiovascular system responds by becoming more efficient. Your heart becomes more powerful. Your capillary networks expand. Your hemoglobin levels optimize. Your blood pressure decreases. This is the mechanism of cardiovascular reversal. And Jack lived this principle across 70 years, which is why his cardiovascular system at 96 was so exceptional. Hormonal optimization through training stimulus. Another major component of Jack's biological age reversal was hormonal. His training protocols optimized nearly every hormone that declines with age. Testosterone naturally declines in men with age, but the decline is accelerated by sedentary behavior and poor nutrition. It's slowed or reversed by resistance training and proper diet. Jack's resistance training created consistent stimulus for testosterone production. At 70, men typically have testosterone levels significantly lower than they had at 30. Jack's levels, according to available records, were dramatically higher than typical for his age. Growth hormone is another age-reversing hormone. It naturally declines with age, but it's stimulated by intense exercise, particularly resistance training and high-intensity intervals. Jack's training methods triggered substantial growth hormone response. Cortisol, the stress hormone, typically becomes elevated with age and chronic stress. But Jack's training, combined with his recovery practices and mental clarity, kept cortisol levels low, preventing the immune suppression and muscle breakdown that elevated cortisol causes. The result of this hormonal optimization was improved muscle synthesis, faster recovery, better immune function, and sustained energy, all hallmarks of biological youth. Cellular regeneration and autophagy. At the cellular level, Jack's protocols triggered constant cellular regeneration through autophagy, the process where your cells clean out damaged components and regenerate. Autophagy increases with fasting and with intense exercise. Both of these were components of Jack's lifestyle. His intermittent fasting and juice protocols triggered autophagy. His intense training triggered it further. This cellular cleanup is one of the most powerful anti-aging mechanisms available. It's why fasting protocols are so effective for longevity. It's why intense training creates age-reversing benefits. Jack was essentially triggering his cells to constantly clean and regenerate themselves. At the cellular level, he was literally younger than his chronological age, because his cells were being renewed and repaired continuously. This is the mechanism behind why people on comprehensive training and nutrition protocols, like Jack's, often have skin that looks younger, hair that retains color longer, and joints that function better. They're literally rebuilding their cellular structures on a regular basis. Inflammation markers, the underlying aging mechanism. Here's something most people don't understand about aging. Chronic inflammation is the underlying cause of nearly every age-related disease. As you age, inflammation markers increase. This chronic low-level inflammation damages tissues, accelerates cellular aging, and increases disease risk. It's called inflammaging, and it's one of the primary mechanisms of aging. Jack's lifestyle systematically reduced inflammation at every level. His training created acute inflammation as a stimulus, but then triggered anti-inflammatory adaptation. His body became incredibly efficient at controlling inflammation. His nutrition, heavy on raw vegetables, fruits, and whole foods, light on processed foods, provided massive amounts of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. His recovery practices, including adequate sleep and stress management, further reduced chronic inflammation. The result was that his blood work, when measured, showed inflammatory markers that were among the lowest his doctors had ever seen. Chronologically 70, but biologically, his inflammatory status was that of someone significantly younger. This anti-inflammatory state is perhaps the single most powerful factor in his biological age reversal, because inflammation drives aging. Reduce inflammation, and you reverse aging at the biological level. Integrated protocol, how it all works together. Now, all of these mechanisms, mitochondrial adaptation, cardiovascular improvement, hormonal optimization, cellular regeneration, inflammation reduction, they don't work in isolation. They work together in an integrated system. Jack's training methods optimized all of them simultaneously. His resistance training triggered mitochondrial adaptation and hormonal optimization. His cardiovascular work improved VO2 max and cardiovascular function. The intensity triggered cellular regeneration through autophagy. The consistency reduced chronic inflammation. His nutrition supported all of these adaptations, providing the raw materials for mitochondrial function, hormone production, and cellular repair. His recovery practices allowed these adaptations to actually happen, preventing excessive stress that would overwhelm the system. And his mindset, his belief that aging was reversible, his commitment to consistent practice, his refusal to accept the inevitability of decline, created the mental framework that made the physical work sustainable across decades. This is why you can't just do one thing. You can't just do resistance training and expect biological age reversal. You can't just do cardiovascular training. You can't just eat well. All of these need to work together. Jack understood this intuitively. His protocols were integrated. And that integration is why his biological age reversal was so complete. Your biological age right now. Now, here's something important for you. At this point in the series, you've made your specialization choice. You've committed to a path, strength, conditioning, or mobility. But what we're introducing now is a deeper layer. The understanding that regardless of your specialization, these biological age mechanisms are working in your body. Your training is either accelerating or reversing your biological age. If you're following a comprehensive protocol, training with intensity, eating well, recovering properly, you're triggering all of these biological age-reversing mechanisms. You're optimizing mitochondrial function. You're improving cardiovascular capacity. You're optimizing hormones. You're reducing inflammation. You can measure where you are right now. You probably don't have access to advanced testing, but you can assess yourself using basic markers. What's your resting heart rate? Lower is younger. Jack's was around 40 beats per minute at advanced age. Average is 60. If you're above 60, that's an aging marker. If you're below 60, particularly below 50, that's a youth marker. What's your body composition? Can you see your abdominal muscles? If yes, your body fat is likely under 15%. That's a youth marker. If you can't see them, that's an aging marker. Can you exercise hard and recover quickly? If yes, your VO2 max is reasonable. If you get winded easily or take hours to recover, that's an aging marker. How's your cognitive function? Can you focus for long periods? Can you learn new things easily? If yes, that's a youth marker. If you're experiencing brain fog and memory issues, that's an aging marker. How's your immune function? Do you get sick frequently? If yes, that's an aging marker. If you rarely get sick, that's a youth marker. These are simple self-assessments of your biological age. And here's the powerful part. All of these markers will improve significantly if you follow what you've learned in this series. Your resting heart rate will decrease. Your body composition will improve. Your cardiovascular capacity will increase. Your cognitive function will sharpen. Your immune function will strengthen. In 6 months of consistent training and proper nutrition, you can see substantial improvements in your biological age markers. In a year, you can shift your biological age by 5 to 10 years. In 5 years of consistent practice, you can reverse decades of aging. This is what Jack proved. And now, with the science backing up what he intuitively knew, you can do it too. Why modern medicine? Still can't explain this. Here's something interesting. Jack lived in an era when the science to explain his biological age reversal didn't fully exist. Modern medicine understood aging as primarily genetic. They didn't have the framework to explain how a lifestyle could produce such dramatic reversals. Today, we have the science. We understand mitochondrial adaptation. We understand the role of inflammation in aging. We understand hormonal optimization. We understand cellular autophagy. Yet, modern medicine is still largely focused on treating age-related diseases with medication rather than preventing them through lifestyle. It's still based on the framework of aging as inevitable, something you manage rather than reverse. Jack's approach was revolutionary then. It's still revolutionary now, because reversing biological aging through lifestyle requires constant practice, dedication and understanding, not medication. And medicine is built around medication. But the science is clear. Biological age is reversible. Jack proved it through his life. And now you have the knowledge to do it too.